lines and then accidentally put a straight line in your color application, you're going to see that, right? So I'm just working with a slightly, black background. So if you can see, there's like a diagonal parting here, but it's super irregular. That'll make sure that when I put that color on, when I apply that color, I don't have the chances of creating what we see on some Instagram accounts that talk about, you know, some pretty bad color applications. Another tip I'll give you is you'll notice that I have not, try not to spill this, but you'll notice that I've not mixed my color yet. I don't want to mix that color until I'm ready to apply. Just remember that this color processes in 5 to 25 minutes. So if it sits in the bowl for too long, chances are it may process in that time in my color bowl rather than on the hair. So we want to make sure that we're getting this application done pretty efficiently, but cleanly and you know, precisely. So for you students out there, what I would recommend is really work on your timing of your color application. You know, you want to make sure that you're not taking too long, but also that you're keeping it clean. So work on your doll heads, you know, work on, you know, wraps, whatever it takes. Just make sure that, you know, you're really getting that timing down. I think that that's one thing that, you know, a lot of hairdressers coming into the industry, you know, new hairdressers coming into the industry may not have. So again, don't rush, but just work on that quick color application or that efficient color application. So because I'm going to be applying the two colors at the same time, I can mix these two bowls at the same time. Now, you'll notice that throughout these ends, I'm working with about a level 6 with some highlighted pieces. Just know that because I'm working with the demi-permanent, it's not going to lift those areas that are a little bit deeper. So I'm applying a level 6, well, between a level 6 and a level 7, and then a level 8 on the ends. So just know that it's going to slightly tone those darker areas. It's not going to lift them to a level 8. That's one of my favorite parts about this, right? It's not going to look so contrived or so planned. It's going to have a feel that is a lot more natural in working with that copper, because you're going to still see some of that. We'll call it natural on a doll head. You'll still see some of that natural coming through.
Oliver, can you go over your formula one more time in case those that may have missed it?
Yes, absolutely. So the root smudge was a combination of 2 parts 5C, 1 part 5B that was mixed in a 1-to-1 mixing ratio with our 9 volume activator. The mid shaft is a combination of equal parts 7CG, sorry, I got a glare, 7CG and 6C. And then the end formula is a combination of equal parts 8G and 8C. The mid shaft and the end formula are mixed in a 1:2 ratio, where the root smudge was mixed in a 1:1 ratio.
Perfect. And then they all were mixed with the 9 volume developer, and that's so you're just getting deposit and no lift.
Exactly.
Fabulous. Thank you.
So again, I'm working with my porosity. And this glare. Okay, there we go. I'm working again with my porosity equalizing spray just to give a little bit of moisture into these ends. Then I'm working with my level 6, well, my 6C and 7CG to paint here through the mid shaft. And guys, I want these colors to combine together. I don't want, you know, a really harsh separation between them. Just had a clean brush. Oh, there it is, right there. Okay. And then working with my combination of 8G, excuse me, and 8C here through the ends. And then I'm just going to drag all that all the way through just to give that beautiful blend. Make sure you have a clean towel close by so that you can wipe your hands off in between each section. So again, working with my finger, I take my next subsection, pull that down, again, working on a diagonal, working with a little bit of more of an irregular parting. And then using my porosity equalizing spray to dampen the hair a little bit. And then my mid-shaft formula. Really make sure you're saturating that hair, but still being very, very clean with it. And then my end formula. And the end result of this, I believe, will be on Shark Fin's Facebook page. I will also post it to my Instagram stories, and my Instagram is Oliver, Oliver, _ Shortall, Shortall. That's the thing that kind of is hard about lives with color, right? You don't get to see the end result all the time, but it will be available for you to see. So now that I've got these two sections done, I don't want to do this section by section. I do it generally in a little bit larger sections. I will take my comb, and I'm working with the wider teeth, and just comb that through to make sure that everything is super blended and that you have that beautiful saturation. So it's going to allow that level 5 formula to play into that mid-shaft formula, which is between a level 6 and a level 7. And it's going to allow that between level 6 and level 7 formula to play into that level 8. The reason that I do that in larger sections is just to make sure that that level 5 formula isn't working all the way down to the ends. If you work in a little bit larger sections, I don't really know the reason behind it, but it just from what I've experienced over the past 17 years of doing hair, I just found that it gives a better blend. All right, so I take that next diagonal section. Also, pivot point, I don't know if you guys are watching, but as an educator, these tripods are amazing, the ones that have the little pull pins. So great job on creating those. They have been like a huge game changer. I don't look like I'm fumbling with a tripod. Elisa, do you use those?
It is the only tripod I use. I am obsessed with it and think it's one of the best things that was ever made. So thank you, Pivot Point, for that. And then, Oliver, just so you know, I'm going to post your Instagram handle in the chat so that they can find you easier and they'll be able to see the end result a lot faster when you post it.
Okay, awesome.
Perfect.
Thank you. Yes, and then just remember you can see it, I believe, and really I'm not sure if you're watching or not, but on the Shark Fin Facebook page, I don't know if you can chime in just to confirm that.
Yeah, that would be awesome, just to make sure that they have both places so that they can see your end result.
I swear I'm not trying to get followers, I just want to show
you. I was like, maybe I shouldn't, maybe I should, but honestly, let's, if Willie is watching, I just want to double check that it is going to be on their Facebook page, which I'm assuming it is, and we'll make sure to post that as well.
Yes, and if you do want to rewatch this video, Willie was saying yesterday that this will be on their YouTube page, so you will be able to rewatch this video if you want to dive a little bit deeper, or you need to leave at some point or anything like that.
Perfect. Another question, Oliver, is do you always spray your porosity equalizing spray section by section, or can you go ahead and dampen the entire hair before applying the color?
That is a really great question. I tend to spray section by section. You can do it either way, but the thing is, just remember that just like with cutting, if you're cutting damp to dry, you want to make sure that you're maintaining even moisture level. Same thing with color. I want to make sure that I'm maintaining that moisture level throughout the entire color application. So just to make sure that, that doesn't dry on the hair at all, I like to do it section by section. But again, you can do it either way. It's entirely up to you. That's a really good question. You guys, I am so excited to be creating this look for you, and I cannot wait to see the end result. We have some of the most beautiful warm shades of Kenra Professional. Would you agree, Lisa? I love our C's and our G's.
I do agree with you, Oliver. And the beauty of, like you said earlier, the beauty of Kenra Professional Color is that a lot of times I think coppers and golds scare stylists, no matter how long you've been in the industry. So I think a really great call out too is that everything in Kenra is really true to swatch. So you're never going to have that panic of, oh no, did I just make her too bright or too gold? They're really, really beautiful colors.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree. And you guys, 8C, one little trick that if I ever want to just warm up my blonde just a little bit, like working with 9G, which is a 9 gold, and just putting a little bit of 8C in there, it gives you the most it puts your fingerprint on that blonde. You know what I mean? It creates like a signature blonde. So yeah, 8C has been one of my favorites as I started with the company about a year and a half ago. Still continues to be.
And then Oliver, I'm not sure if you've already mentioned this, but how long are you going to let her process?
Great question. So our Kenra Demi-Permanent Color processes for 5 to 25 minutes. I'm going to allow her to process the full 25 minutes to really make sure that I'm getting that, that really true color result that I'm looking for.
Perfect. Are you able to let the demi-color process shorter than 25 minutes?
You are. So you can process anywhere from 5 to 25 minutes. The difference would be that, longevity-wise and intensity-wise, I like my color to last for the full amount of time. So that's why I allow it to generally process the full amount of time. If you are looking for, a quicker option, something to process a little bit shorter, we do have our rapid toners, which come in 5 different shades. 5, right? 4, sorry. Yes, 4. Yes, beige, green, blue, silver, violet, and violet pearl. I don't know where that fifth one came from. That's okay. Those process in 5 minutes or less. And they do actually have a really good longevity as well. But if you're looking for that true semi-permanent application that's going to last the full amount of time, I recommend processing it for the full amount of time, which is, again, the 25 minutes.
Wonderful. And then also a question we have is, how long do you usually tell your clients the longevity of the demi will last? And when should they rebook in between glosses like this?
That's a great question. So as far as longevity, it's going to, definitely vary from person to person. I found that, with our Kenra demis, I'm looking at about 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Again, it all depends on how often they shampoo, the porosity of the hair, all that type of thing. But to be honest, I try to get my clients back in every 8 weeks anyway, so they should be ready for a gloss the next time they come in. And Elisa, I don't know if you have any recommendations on that as well.
Pretty much follow the exact same thing. So that was really great. Also, I always say that it kind of depends on a case-to-case basis, especially sometimes in the summer months, the sun tends to fade us out a little bit faster than in the winter months. So there are a few times where I can recommend coming back sooner rather than later, just depending on what type of client I have sitting in my chair and what type of gloss we're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, those are great tips. You can already see, I say to stay so clean. So you can already see that some of this hair, I don't know if you can see that or not, but is starting to shift to that golden copper strawberry effect. So I cannot wait for you guys to see the end result. I think it's going to be gorgeous. So things are going to start to change as we get here to around the face. I've got probably 2 more subsections before I switch, so don't leave me yet, because I have some more tips for you. So now I need to be careful about where I'm pulling. So I'm going to pull just behind that hairline. And that's the area that you can see that I did that little like 1/4 inch of a color note, or I'm sorry, root smudge. See, I told you guys, there's so many names for everything. And then working with that end formula, which is the 8G and 8C. Okay, so now here I am at the hairline. And this is where things are going to shift just a little bit. Now I'm going to be dropping that mid-shaft formula altogether. So now I'm only going to be working with the 8G and 8C equal parts 1 to 2 with our 9 volume, because I want all of this face framing area to stay bright and stay and really have that, that face framing effect. Because that's generally where clients want to see those brighter areas. So I'm going to be working with that 8G and 8C. Just off the root smudge all the way through to the ends. In some cases, I would put a foil down at this point, but honestly, everything is within a level of each other, so it's not super important to do that.
And then we're also getting shout outs for our beige rapid toner for our blondes. Yes. So I don't know about you, but I do love the beige rapid toner too. And if you are new to Kenra or not familiar with Kenra, the beige is just a really great option for a cool and warm tone altogether.
You have to use that one in the salon all the time.
It's a fan favorite, guys.
I'm also obsessed with mixing SV, which is our silver violet, and violet pearl together on clients that are like a level 8 to 9. I have one client in the salon and like just nothing ever really gets her to that like perfect combination of warm and cool, but the SB and VP together is fire. It's so good. It's everything.
Do you mix equal parts SV and VP, Oliver?
I mean, it all depends on the client, but yes, this one particular one, I do mix equal parts, and there's just something that like it just hits different.
Yeah, agreed. So for those of you that aren't aware, SB is going to be silver violet, so it'll have a little bit more of a blue kind of counterbalance to it, and then the VP is going to be violet pearl, so that's going to have more of a violet hue to it.
All right, so I just have one more section. So you guys can see how quick this is. I love the consistency of our demis just because they're so easy to get on. I've worked with many different demis before, and it's not always this simple. So again, this is the 8G and the 8C, working here through the ends and the mid shaft.
We have a really great question that I think we should answer. Do you ever like to use the bottle application for demi, or do you always prefer the bowl and the brush for this particular look?
That is such a great question. So that's all preference. When it comes to doing a color melt, I'm generally going to work with a bowl and brush just because it's a very precise application. If I'm doing a rapid toner at the bowl, if I'm doing anything at the bowl, or I mean even at the chair, but if it's just like an all over color, then I love the bottle for that. But for this specific application, because I'm working with 3 different shades down the hair strand, I do prefer to work with the bowl and brush. Great question. All right, so here is my color application for the root smudge into the color melt. If anyone is just joining a little late today, which is totally fine because I know we all have busy lives, and was on yesterday but did not see the color results from yesterday, I did leave the pre-lightened hair so that you could see. So again, this is our starting point, which I'll make sure to get a picture of this as well. And then, we did all of our root smudge and color melt on the other side. So are there any other questions out there? Give it just a minute.
Looks like we've answered everything, but like Oliver said, we're going to give you guys just a minute. Also, I'm sure you guys noticed that I did just repost for the discount codes for the brands that are involved with shark fin today. And then, like I said, we're just going to wait a few minutes and to make sure that everybody's questions were answered.
And if you guys have any questions, my Instagram is there. Please feel free to reach out. Give me a DM. Where can we see the finished result? Is that from Sarah? I think it was.
I am posting that right now, so go ahead, Oliver.
Okay, awesome. So I'm going to be posting it on my Instagram stories, and I believe Willie's going to be posting on the Shark Fin Facebook page. But I'll make sure to to get a picture of the blonde from yesterday as well as the color melt from today. Yes, you're welcome, Sarah. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I want to thank you guys. I know we didn't take up the full 45 minutes, so I hope you got a time to go grab a coffee, take a potty break before the next class. I want to thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate you guys, taking your education to the next level, even in some circumstances where maybe you can't get into a class, or maybe YouTube might be too big, so Shark Fin has really put together this amazing event for 2 days for the second time, and I really want to commend you all for taking your career to the next level. If you're a student, really learning about what this industry is about and not just what you're taught in school, because I think that it's important to know what's out there, and really to broaden your scope of knowledge and broaden your mind into all the different things that you can do. As I was saying earlier, there's so many different ways to color hair. There's so many different ways to cut hair, and it can be confusing. So I hope you take a little bit of what I shared with you today, implement it into something that you do, even if you're not recreating the look. Maybe you use different shade, maybe you use a different application, maybe you start in the front and work your way to the back. But I hope today helped you just a little bit to grow your career, to grow your mind, and keep you inspired. So from Kenra Professional, from Elisa and myself, I want to say thank you so much for joining today. And stay tuned. There's a lot of really cool stuff coming up from our from the other brands that are working with Shark Fin. Willie, thank you so much for having us, and I hope to see you guys soon. So thank you.
Thanks.